Hello and welcome to Edupedia World. In this video we'll be taking a look at how you can change whatever is on your TV. So I just shot some footage of a TV and I changed whatever was on the screen. So if we just hide the layer with the screen element, then you can see this is the footage that I shot, and there's nothing on the screen. But if I turn on the screen layer, you can see suddenly there's something on the screen. And hocus pocus, if we go into this other composition called screen, then we can just change whatever we want on the screen. So we can do Control T, hello, make this very large like this, and when we are back in our other composition, you can see there's something new on the screen. It says hello. So how did we do this? How did I do this? Well, I started off with a 3D track and then I added a plane on the screen and changed whatever was on the plane. So I will show you how you can do that. First you need to start off with some footage, and this is the footage that I'll be working with, so drop it onto the new composition button and keep it organized, so call it footage. There we go. Let's just, I think this is fine to work with. So remember I told you that I will show you how you can get a better track. So as you can see, this video actually doesn't have that much to track. There's a big white wall right here, and it's not going to be able to track anything of all the white. Also this lamp, it won't be able to track any of that. It won't be able to track much of the floor, much of this table, much of this black sofa, and there's basically just not much for the tracker to track. Also the screen here, it's reflecting stuff, and those reflections, they can be tracked, but they are actually pretty hard. So this is actually not that easy shot to track, and you also see that with the average error that we will get. So since the tracker is looking at different points, small points with a lot of contrast, we can actually increase the contrast in the image to make it easier for the tracker to pick out points. So we can do that by adding an effect before we do the tracking. So we can take this effect called Sharpen and then just add it onto the layer and just crank that up. You can see, well, if I crank it up to 1000, then it gets very outlined and stuff. But if you just put it to something like, let's say 90, then it just makes it so that everything is more pronounced. There's a lot of contrast. You can see if I turn it off, you get a lot of contrast, dark lines around the edges, and this is just much nicer for the tracker to work with. So in order for the tracker to actually use these settings, we have to make this into a composition, because it won't take these effects into account. So I'll take our layer, do Control Shift C, and then move all the attributes, and this will create a new composition with this video, with all these layers put together as the video. So we're now in that composition, and as you can see, we now have this composition called footage. We can right click and choose track camera, because this is how you do a 3D track. We will set it to detailed analysis and actually just leave everything else at default. So again, it will analyze in the background, and in around 30 seconds, very quickly, it will be ready. You gotta of course imagine if you had a very long shot in like 4K or something, it would take a long time. So then you should probably while it's tracking, you should probably go watch some movies, maybe go watch a new chapter on Edupedia World, I don't know, do whatever you like, go make yourself some coffee. In my case, it's done right now. It will quickly stall the camera, and as you can see, we have an average error of around 1.5, and that was actually to be expected, because this was a very hard shot to track. For some weird reason, all these points didn't want to show up when I tracked the video. So I am very sure that it was a bug in After Effects, and what I did to correct it was just delete the composition, go to the project, find the project, and then just deleted it. I'll call this, I'll just give it a name, screen. So I just deleted the composition, and now I'm in a new composition. So all that I've done is just added in the video, or sorry, the footage, or whatever you want to call it, and then just right clicked and told it to track the video. I didn't do any sharpening, because I just wanted to be very simple, to eliminate any bugs that could be in After Effects. So now we can see we have an average error of 1.38. That's actually better than without sharpening, than with sharpening, sorry. So we can see we have a lot of points. We want to just pick the points that are on the TV, on the right plane. You can see all the guys that are in the plane, sorry, in the TV, they won't actually be on this plane. They will be somewhere behind the TV, like out in the garden that's behind this TV, because as you can see, the reflections of this chair, or the chair that's over here, is showing like it's behind the TV, like it's another room in behind the TV, and that's how the tracker will perceive it, as something that's behind the TV, like we are looking through the TV, but we're not. This is actually just a plane. So I want to pick points that are like besides the TV, on the TV, like this guy up here, and these are here. You can hold shift and you can select multiple points. Just select some of these, and as you can see now we have a oh, sorry, can't do we can't move the cursor, and we can't do Control C. But if I just select these points again, we will see that we have a oh, I did it again. Always forget that you can't Control C. So I'll just select these points, this point up here, maybe deselect some of these, to select some more points. We want it to be as flat as possible. As you can see, this is much better. Just select some great points, and then you will see this target is on the TV, like in the right plane. So we can now right click and create a solid and the camera that we need. So I'll change the opacity of this so that it's easier to place. So right now, if we scrub through the video, then we'll see our plane is tracked onto the television, and it's in the right depth, like it's in the right distance from the screen. So now we just need to position it so that it's on the TV. But first we need to change the dimensions of this plane, because if we take this, call it screen, and then go into the layer and the solid settings for the screen, then we will see the width has been set to 1080 and the height has been set to 1080. But this television is actually not 1:1 aspect ratio, it's 16:9. So I'll just type in 1920, which is full HD, and as you can see, it's now the right dimensions, like the television. So this pink color is actually pretty nice when you need to align this, because it's easy to see where the box, oh sorry, this plane is. So I'll just start moving it around, looking from all different angles, seeing if I've put it off axis, and I have. So I'll just move it forward a bit. I'll actually undo all of this, and first, before I do anything, start by getting it in roughly the correct rotation. So try and line up the green line with the line of the TV, and then when that's done, use the x-axis to try and line up the blue. Basically, if this green line lines up with this line, and the line at the bottom lines up with the television, then you should be good. So that's done by rotating this way, and then I think we're in the right perspective. Press V to start moving it around, and we can place it inside the television like this. Now we can do some fine adjustments to the C axis, the blue axis, and we may want to change the scale, just scale it down just a very bit, just a little bit like that, and now it fits in the frame quite alright. We can move through the video and see how it is in the end. In the end, we can actually see that the x-axis hasn't been aligned perfectly. So I will just try and align it like that. There we go. As we can see, right in this frame, it looks quite alright. It fits pretty alright into the frame. May want to scale up to maybe 99, maybe 100, like that. So it looks alright here, but then when we get to the side, it's all it's not right. So we will have to create some keyframes to move it around, and it's a bit I won't call it cheating, but it's not. It would be best if it would fit off the bat, but since this is a very hard track because of the lack of information to track, then we are gonna have to do this. So I'll just put in a few keyframes, just move along, see when it goes off, and just like change it so that fits. So press U to see all the keyframes. Then when we get to the side, so you would actually have to change the scale as well. Put it to non-uniform, and then we can just take one axis at a time. Maybe take this in a bit and move it over like that. Go to the start and then put this to 100. And go to the last frame where it's off by a lot, and just make it fit, and then the program will do the rest for us. And this should actually do it now. Now this fits the screen pretty alright. Just turn off the audio, and as you can see, this follows the screen nicely. This actually follows the screen nicer than in my example, so it's pretty good. We now want to actually put something on the screen. So to do that, we need to pre-compose it, put it into another composition where we can change what's on it. So I'll call this screen image, and then instead of saying move all attributes, we want to leave them all, so we don't get this layer with the 3D position. We only want like the solid. So you can see what that does. Let's create a composition. If we go into the composition, then we will see just the solid right here. If we scale it down, then it will also be scaled in here. So that's quite nice. Then I will find the stuff we want to add onto the screen. So I'll just pick one of my other lessons. Go to an interesting point. Here I have added some color. Set the end point, and go back to the composition and just add it in. And there we go. If we go into our other composition, you can see that the tutorial has now been added onto the screen. Remember, I changed the opacity, so it says 56. If we put it to 100%, then you'll see it actually looks kind of fake because of the large amount of sharpness. Because as you can see, everything is a bit blurred. It's not all sharp, and as you can see, there's a lot of detail in this screen, and that doesn't look very realistic. And also, there's no reflection. So if you just hide this layer, then you can see there's a lot of reflections, and we don't get those. So let's first fix the problem with the reflections. It's actually very easy. Just change the blending mode from normal to screen. That will add in all the reflections. As you can see now, they are just being added on top. And then to make it all look a bit more blurred, we'll just add a fast blur with like 2 pixels or something, maybe 5. And there we go. We are now done. We've used 3D tracking to replace the screen on a television, and in my opinion, this is seamless. This is pretty much how it would look in real life if you had something on the television. Of course, it wouldn't flicker like it does when you record TVs, so this is a very nice way of putting stuff on televisions. So that's about it for this tutorial.
Thank you for watching Edupedia World. Stay tuned for more videos.